You're now tapped into Keeyzo's Corner with your host, Mr. Keeyzo, in the building. I got a special guest. This one, we go way back. You know what I'm saying? He talking that before the money, before the fame. He talking that. I remember when y'all had tape on the car type. You know, that's what we was doing back then. But we got my man Tamil Robinson in the building, man. Yo, what's good, bro? Good to see you, man.
What's
Long
up?
time.
Long time, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Like a family reunion almost, bro.
I appreciate you pulling up on me for real.
Yeah, man.
You know, and I said when I saw the promo and everything, I was like, look at Tamil, that boy sharper than the board of health over there, boy. That boy got the shoes, the coat, and the bag to match.
Yo, man, that's the involvement, man. You know, that's the involvement. You know how it go.
Nah, listen. So let's jump right into it. You know, I know you from back in the days, but I want you to tell the people, you know, how did you get started in this industry?
Oh man, this was wow. We going way back. You talking about 4 decades, man.
Wow.
You know, for real. We're putting our age up, but it's all good. It's quality, man. It's quality life. I started back in Arts High School, really, before I even set foot in New York. Mm-hmm. You know, around the
and where's that at?
Days. Newark, New Jersey.
Newark, okay.
Yep, Arts High School, Newark, New Jersey. It was a performing arts school, just like you would see Fame.
Right.
Art, music, and drama. I was an art major. Mm-hmm. I was a visual arts major. So, you know, pen and ink, gouache, watercolors. But my master skill came in with airbrushing. And that's when I went and had some airbrush shops in the strip mall. And I was hitting the graffiti shirts, doing the breakdancing uniforms and things like that back in the day, hitting the denim and all that. So it kind of gave me the bug because y'all was spraying on denim. Right. You know, Shirt Kings was over here doing their thing.
Yeah.
I was in
Shout out to Tyson.
Word
Nike.
Word,
Fade.
Word.
Kashim.
Yep. Definitely, man. And we doing the backdrops and the whole thing. So that was my innate talent, you know, art, painting and things like that. So it kind of evolved from the denim, and I wanted to just start doing my own clothing. And that's how TCA was born, Tamil's Creative Artwear.
Right.
But, you know, when we did the brand, it was actually just TCA. And people really didn't know what it meant until they looked at the label.
Right.
But the creative part was because I was a, born artist.
So was this always a passion of yours to be in the fashion industry or to be a designer or clothing?
It was. You know what? When from the airbrush, I had to say, your talent evolves when you have that inbred, that born talent. So it has to evolve.
Because you started in graffiti.
I started in graffiti, just plain art. Back in the day, high school, drawing comics, Credible Hulk and things like that, making my own comic books and things. Doing all that.
Right.
So, with that being said, it evolved into the fashion. It wasn't like I was like, yo, I'm gonna be a fashion designer. I'm gonna be like, Calvin Klein, da 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 da. But it wasn't like that. This was more of an evolvement, and it brought me to that stage, and that's how that happened.
Wow. So you said 40 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time, my brother.
It's a long time.
Because when I look back, we've been out here 32 years. This makes our 32nd year this year.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because even though it's 32 years ago, it doesn't seem like, for me, it really doesn't seem like that long ago. Like, until you put the 32 on it. But it doesn't seem, it seems to me like a good 20 years ago when it was, actually 32 years. You know what I mean? But
I put the 40 on it because I was doing this back in high school. So you talking 14, 15 years old, I was spraying shirts, and that's how I was making my money. So I have to add that in because that's part of the process.
I was doing a couple of other things to make my money back. It wasn't that nice with the pen, you know what I'm saying? And we was talking rabbit ears, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, we was green, bro. We was green, trying to get that green.
But so you work with numerous brands from Reebok to NFL to Major League Baseball,
NBA,
Nautica.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
take us through that journey. Like, how did you? Because the reason I'm asking is we've done some of the same things, you
Yeah.
know, with NFL and you
Yep.
know some of the. I mean, not the NFL and
You did
NBA,
NBA?
but also working with Bill Cosby,
Yep, I
Muhammad
remember that.
Ali, and
Yep.
all that, and those greats. So, but take me through that period where you went from drawing or doing graffiti to working with these huge brands.
Well, from the airbrush shops, that evolved into the denim.
Right.
From that started TCA, T-shirts and jeans and things like that. From what we were doing, they were so-called urban back then. You know, we just had our own. It was just fresh gear.
Yeah.
You know, flavor gear, all that type of stuff. We gave it names. You know, the industry gave it that name. But from there, I started just doing freelance work. And the freelance work with Logo Athletic and Puma, you know, a lot of people started, you know, knowing my name, pretty much doing on-field apparel for Puma. They had 13 teams, and then that's how I got with Logo Athletic. And then from Logo Athletic, Reebok they did a merger. So I knew a lot of the people there doing those different brands. And it just started evolving from there. And, you know, NFL called me one time and say, hey, we got Pro Bowl jerseys coming up. We want to, you know, we like what you're doing. We love the color blocking and things that you always, you know, the airbrushed effects and things like that. So I said I could come up with some things. So I did those Pro Bowl jerseys, which really, really set me off globally because that gave me a lot of connections. And those Pro Bowl jerseys, like you got everybody from T.O. to Tom Brady, you know, all the Hall of Famers wearing those like twice because at first Nike was dissolving their contract with NFL. So they used the jerseys anyway. It was no logo. Turn around, Goodell saying, hey, you know, these are like the coolest jerseys I've ever seen with the gradation on it. I mean, we were doing that back in the day from the streetwear. We did the gradation.
We almost went out of business for doing
Yeah.
They didn't think that was us. They was like, this can't be FUBU. Like, we was like, but this is where it's going.
This is where it's going. Yeah, so from there, Reebok joined NFL. And that's, you know, the people I knew there. They say, hey, we were working on an Iverson project. You want to work on the AI stuff? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I worked on some AI product, you know, for Reebok. And from there, it just started growing because I went overseas, started learning the business of fashion because I already had the talent.
Yeah.
So I wanted to separate that and learn the business of it, all the ins and outs.
That's what people, those are the things that people don't know. They think just creating a line is coming up with an idea, a T-shirt, a hat, or whatever, or even a line, but not learning the business behind the fashion.
Yeah.
And that's where all the meat and potatoes, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Because when you think about advertising, marketing,
Yep.
product placement,
Yep.
you know, just making the right moves, decisions creatively, you know, visually, how your visuals look and what
Yeah.
you're putting out there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A lot of that has to do with behind the scenes. Like your talent is cool, it's gonna get you there.
Yeah.
But knowing the businesses won't keep you going.
Right, and that's why I had to step away and pretty much separate myself from that so I can learn those things because sometimes you can fall through the cracks with just trying to be creative. You got to learn how this thing works if you're going to be in that industry and be a mainstay in that industry and grow within it because you're going to evolve. You're going to do different things.
Right.
Especially if you keep going and making a name for yourself and you're working with these are billion-dollar corporations, NFL and Major League Baseball. These are not corners. It's not mom and pops.
You doing big things. Like,
Yeah.
you ain't messing around.
No, we're not messing around. I mean,
And when you have the opportunity, you have to seize the opportunity.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So
That's right.
You're blessed to be able to get in there and have the talent to seize that opportunity.
Definitely was a blessing. You know, one thing begets another thing, especially if you're doing something and it catches wind like that and it goes throughout the industry. You can really, really seize that, but you still have to mold it and grow it as well because that's another child you're raising. You see? So that's basically where the mentorships come in from. And you have to be able to take some constructive criticism. And I've learned that through art school with the best art teachers.
A lot of people not good with constructive criticism.
I like it.
I love it.
I love it because it's
just have the knowledge that you know, when you giving me the constructive criticism, first of all, I don't need no yes men around me. So be 100% authentic. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And state your facts. And
That's
then,
right.
We can agree to disagree. You know
True,
what I'm saying?
true,
But
true.
if I know you coming from a good place and I know what you're saying could be real, I'm gonna honor it. I'm gonna be like, all right, you know what? That's a good point. Now I'm gonna look into that.
Definitely.
But a lot of times, people, especially with creatives, I've experienced over the years, is once they get the talent and they have the talent, nobody can really tell them shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they know everything.
Hard.
You know what I mean?
It's hard.
So it's kind of hard in a way. And I've seen some creative people take themselves right out the loop.
Yeah.
Straight out the loop. Like, yeah, you're creative, but when you get to a point when you're working for somebody else, it's about what they want, not what about you want.
Right.
What they're trying to get out of you, not what you're trying to give them. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's a great point, and I love the fact that you said that, because that's kind of what took me to say, you know what, that's their thing. Mm-hmm. They invited me in their house, so now I want to build my own.
Right.
And I took all that constructive criticism and knowledge, learning curves, you know, like all of that stuff, and say, you know what, this is a good foundation to start building things, you know.
So I know you've been in this game long, as we say in the fashion industry, long time.
Long time.
but you know, you've also kind of pivoted into different things such as celebrity branding and, you know, working with certain artists. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the celebrity branding piece was something that I didn't look for, but because I was doing freelance for certain companies, I had certain connections outside of that who actually brought those to me. Like with, you know, some companies were, you know, they were keen on trying to do like the celebrity branding when it was really, really big, with the artists being the brand and everything like that. So I was kind of like the, pretty much I wouldn't say the middle guy. I would be,
liaison.
You know, like a liaison, like a, you know.
Consigliere.
Yeah, the concierge, like they would bring that in and try to smooth it out and explain it to the companies that owned the, you know, like why this would be good. You know, or why that wouldn't be good. So, you know, that was with the House of Darion. You know, I brought that over to the company, the KHNYs of the world. You know, when I met with they had an agent at the time. So that was one. I worked with Ice-T with the Ice Wear. You know, that's how I met Ice. You know, before I was, you know, putting stuff on New York Undercover. I had the TCL New York Undercover. And, you know, me and Ice became real cool, you know, like all the time. So we, you know, still talk, still text or whatever, you know, and he's always very supportive of what I've been doing, because he said, you know what, Tamil, you don't cut corners. You don't cut corners at all.
It's better when you don't, because even with us, you know, we used to catch a lot of flack from back in the days from people just wanted online to be super cheap.
Yeah.
But then they don't understand the business behind that.
Right.
If it's super cheap, if you want it at a discount, tomorrow you're going to say it's cheap.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to buy it.
That's true.
And then other people are not going to buy it. So with us, we never gouge prices. We always figured, okay, let's find the best product that we can find quality-wise. You know, if we want, you know, we want to make security hoodies for security to wear outside, so we're gonna make it 400 or something grams. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then
Definitely.
Cats just loved it. It was like, yo, and then at those things we didn't even sell. Those were like given to our special people in all the clubs all over the country.
Right.
But we did the same thing with the brand. It's like we tried to put as much quality in it as possible, make it as heavy as possible or warm as possible or whatever it was. And, you know, just did the usual markup. And it wasn't like, you know, we're not a you know, celebrity, not a designer, one of these ill designers where we gonna make something for $200 and sell it to you for $4,000. You know what I'm saying?
True.
because I don't know if you have that problem. Like sometimes I be having that issue sometimes. Like when I be in the store and I
Right.
be buying stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, ain't no way that goddamn hell this shit costs $4,000.
Oh, it depends.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it depends.
Like this is nice.
Yeah, it's
I
nice.
give you $1,500. You know what I'm saying? But because the name is on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna cost that extra $25. But
Yeah.
you know, for the most part, we always try to put our quality into our product so that we didn't cut corners. And
Right.
when you look at it, or people, you know, and what's crazy is people kind of got us to relaunch the brand by thrifting.
Oh, wow.
By literally going into thrift stores, people say, I don't want this FUBU no more, man.
Right.
And they going in there and they putting it on and wearing it and buying it at these stores. And I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, this stuff looks brand new.
But now it's vintage.
You know what I'm saying? It's brand new. Now you claiming it's vintage, but it's brand new. This stuff looks like, you know, it just came out a couple of years ago, just from the quality.
Right.
You know, I remember one of my photographer friends sent me a picture of him in the sweatshirt. Mm-hmm. And the sweatshirt looked brand new. And I'm like, yo, you telling me this is a 19-year-old sweatshirt? And it looks brand new?
I believe that.
He said, well, I only wore it a couple of times. I don't wear my stuff like that.
Nah, I believe that. A lot of people, true story, I've done some airbrush jackets with people's faces on them and rhinestones and everything.
Yeah, they keep
people
those.
put those in plastic.
Oh, yeah,
and they
yeah.
show me, you know, because we reconnected on Facebook. I still got this jacket that you did for me in 1991. I said, get out of here. Let me see the date. And I see my signature there, 91. I'm like, whoa, wow. And they kept it pristine. They kept it nice.
Yeah.
Dude with the Jeep on the back cover, you know,
Oh, yeah.
girl on there, the face.
Yeah.
You know, I did a Sade for one person, like she still kept it, like, you know, real. Man, that stuff was like almost brought tears to my eyes because like that's like real artwork that I did and someone kept it in plastic.
Do you still airbrush?
Of course. I have my airbrush right next to my desk. That's like carrying my 9. You know, that's a different type of gun, you know. But nah, man, it's cool. But no, I really, really appreciate those days because those days helped me cocoon myself and sprout to this butterfly for these days. Mm-hmm. And like we talked about, leaving a legacy. And that's what I set out to do when I separated myself from the business, from the talent, and went to the business of fashion. Mm-hmm. And my mentor said, create a house. So I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm doing streetwear. I'm doing my sports licensing. You know, I just hooked up with Anthony Mason, God rest his soul. We was doing the NBA.
Guy.
Yeah, because we
God
did.
bless you.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. Yo, Mace was my dude. Yeah. We met. It was a little rough, but once he calmed down and I showed him the light, it was like, yo, we was like the coolest of friends, man. He was like, wow, T, I got to follow your lead. You know this stuff, you know. Because a lot of times they don't know that we have the knowledge.
A couple of months before he passed, he called me and was like, yo, what you doing?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm in the office. He was like, yo, I'm coming to see you. I'm on 34th Street.
So
I was like, all right, cool. I'm in the building. He was like, all right, I'll be up there in a minute. So he came up there and we was chopping it up, taking pictures and all that.
Yeah.
And then he was telling me, he was like, yo, you should get into insurance. Because he was doing insurance.
Yep. He took me to the office.
Yeah, so I was like, really? I was like, he's like, yeah, man, you'll make a lot of money, Keith. You make a killing.
Yeah.
So, you know, me, ego-wise and whatnot, I'm sitting up there like, yeah, he's selling dope. Insurance, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I did think about it because I was like, well, why is he's telling me this for a reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Mace ain't going to just... He ain't gonna just hit you with the, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, he was real deal.
I said, okay. So I looked into it. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
Now I only looked into because at the time the company went down.
Yeah.
And I was like, sitting at home one day. I was like, you know what? Let me open up I looked around and looked at some things, and I said, yo, I saw a high-paying job for an insurance company.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I'll do that on the side. Like I'll, you know, because I know everybody. I know a lot of people who would benefit from doing this. So I said, this might be another stream of income. So I went down there. Mm-hmm. I, you know, sat in the place. It was like a little room. I just sit there.
Yeah.
So I'm acing things. You know, I'm going through it. I'm like, It's easy because all you gotta do is read and then put. It's not too much. You don't have to think too much into it.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah. Nope.
So then they gave us an aptitude test. So I took the aptitude test. I was the first one to finish the test.
Wow.
So I'm looking around at everybody in the room. I'm like, what is taking them so long? So they finished, gave the test, took it to the people in the back.
Right.
Guy comes from the back and says, Keith Perry here? I was like, yeah, it's me. He's like, can I have a word with you? I was like, oh, shit, what did I do? Yeah, right. I was like, what happened? Like, man, I go back here. This man proceeds to tell me that I've scored the highest in the aptitude test that he's seen in the last 10 years.
Wow.
And I was like, I was sitting across the desk like, for real?
Word.
Are you serious? Nah,
man.
bro. Like, he was like, I just want to know, what did you think about it? I said, it wasn't too much to think about.
Right.
I think if you think too long, if you question your answers, that's when you get it wrong.
That's true.
And he just was like, wow. And I think it was like a 87 or something in there. But rest in peace, Mace, man. You didn't brought that story out.
Word, man. Mace, man. He was.
I want to talk to you about
one.
another thing because I was reading something up on you and it really hit home. You said you like to align yourselves with the right partner. Yeah. And this is something that I always preach. And when I go out and I talk to different people, companies, kids, or whatever, and I'm like, aligning yourself with the right people or the right company is the best thing you can do because sometimes people think that, you got money?
Yeah.
You need to back me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm going to take it to the top.
Yeah.
This guy might be in real estate. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You're doing fashion.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand the language.
Right.
You know what I mean? I remember one of my boys.
Man.
This guy gave him a $500,000 limit, an open limit to get his shit started.
Right.
He spent a lot of the money. I think he was close to, but the things that he did and the line that he put together and everything he has set up.
Right.
Was out of here. It was almost like because we was working with Willie Esco.
I remember. So, I know Willie.
Yeah, Willie Esco. So
in the house.
he was big in the Latina market.
Yep.
This cat was also in the Latino. He was a Dominican cat.
Okay.
So I saw him like launching this. You know what I'm saying? Taking off. I was like, yo, y'all gonna win with that.
Right.
The guys that he invested with, I guess either they weren't really into that, into the fashion industry like that.
Right.
And they just had money.
Right.
But once they hit that 500,000, they was like, that's it. No more.
Yeah.
And he was like, please, let's just turn the corner. Let's,
because you almost there.
We almost there.
Yeah.
And they killed the line.
Yeah. See, and that I'm glad you brought that up because I've had those experiences. Mm-hmm. And sometimes and I always say this, my talent goes way faster than the finance because I'm always creating, especially when I'm doing different categories and things like that. So it can go. Mm-hmm. But that partner who's investing or sees your vision at first, they have to be able to see it 20 years down the road with you.
Yeah. Exactly.
They have to be able. So sometimes some things go into an incubation period. Mm-hmm. And you might not start selling that first year or that second year, but you're still getting there. Mm-hmm. It's not like you completely stopped. Mm-hmm. But sometimes if they don't see that, they can panic and say, you know what, man, it's not going. What happened? Like
I thought bottom line for them.
It's the bottom line, and you can't when you're doing creative things like that, and especially in our world, in our space where we come from, you have to be able to see that thing through. Yeah. You have to because you don't know what it's going to evolve into. You might start out making a T-shirt, but guess what? Down the road, you have done a bottom. You've done a hat. You've done something that may click that $1 million. Mm-hmm.
It took us 4 years to get off the ground and get for people to see us.
Yeah.
So if you was only gonna commit for a year or two, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You would have never saw the
fruits of the labor.
Exactly.
And I'm glad you brought that up because that can frustrate and have a creative person who wanted to follow behind your footsteps or my footsteps and that can deter them and say, they can get discouraged, and we can't do that. That's why I always keep it 100. You have to be able to see that vision all the way through. So if I'm telling you by the year 20-something, NASA gonna have our spacesuits, trust and believe I'm getting there because I've already started the process in my head, and we're gonna get there. It's just about getting the groundwork done.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. So let me ask you, I like to ask people this. What was your biggest setback and your biggest comeback?
I always say setbacks turn into setups. So for the setback could have been, for me, on a financial term, because it's never been creative.
But it's always financial.
It's always that. So that's the main thing.
Listen, I tell people all the time, listen, if you don't got the money, you have to figure it out, because it takes money to get this off the ground the right way.
Yeah.
Now, you don't need to have $1 million, but you need to have some type of financing, whether you're, creating a line over here and you're working by day, or you're creating a line at night and working, working a job by day. You know what I'm saying? To put the money into it, but you need that.
Fortunate for me, I was working in the industry while building something for the industry.
Yeah.
You see? So that was the blessing of it. Yeah. Some people come from something else and try that. So it could get a little frustrating because your mind is not 100% on that. So I was always 100% in creative since I was 14. Always 100% in that. Even though I was freelancing for this company or that company, I was always 100% in that. So my biggest setback was always the financing, because I always had to evolve into something bigger and have someone see that vision.
Right.
The biggest comeback, wow, was meeting my mentor, God rest his soul, because he saw something in me that I didn't really understand at the time. Right. And that was the biggest comeback, was meeting him and him setting me up for us being able to sit here and talk about that and being able to move forward in this industry still. So with that being said, that was the biggest comeback for me, because he said, hey, you should build a house. I said, well, what's the difference between what I'm doing and what you're talking about? He said, because in 10 years, nobody going to know TCA, because that's some fad stuff you're doing. We used to do that back in the 60s, painting on our jeans and da-da-da-da. We wasn't doing, you're not in this category, you're not in that category, you're not building fabrics, you're not doing your textile. He was going, and I'm like, why are you hating? Like, I'm doing streetwear, man. I'm like, y'all just did NFL. You know who wearing my jersey? Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? He said, okay, and do you own it? I said, okay. I mean, no, but I wasn't there for that.
So that's funny you said that, right? Because you started with TCA.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what you're doing now in your most current line. Because like I said, I saw you, they sent me the info, and I said, look at my boy. That boy is sharper than the board of health, man.
Yeah, man. Like I said, my mentor, he groomed me. Well, I was always, after breakdancing and after the streetwear stuff, I was always dressing anyway, because my uncles and all them cats was like, pimps and doing their thing, and dressed to kill back in the day. That's what they did. You know how the gangsters do it. So I've always had that side of me anyway. So it wasn't like I was a fish out of water. So when my mentor came, he come from that old school. So he was like, because when we met, I had on sharp clothes, shoes, everything like that. I wore sharp shoes on my feet like every day, since high school. So it wasn't nothing new. It wasn't what I was into for the industry, because we come from the culture. We built that. Hip hop, urban. That was the culture I was a part of. So I grew up in that. But with this, the Amiat, that was a whole different thing of forming the house. All moods and all textiles. And all moods and all textiles is because I worked in every part of the fashion industry, really. So that's what I started, because I was doing Amiat as my freelance gigs. With Bill, Reebok would bill me, through that. All those different, freelance jobs, it was through that. So it wasn't really that. So he said, well, pick a name or do something, but we're going to create a house. And that house is going to be like a Versace or Comme des Garçons or Valentino. And I'm like, man, what are you talking about? He said, you went to art school? You figure it out. Create some textiles. You went to interior design school. You got interior design degree. You work for an architect. Like, put all that together. Build a house. So that's how that came about.
Right.
I took 15 years of my life working with this guy, building textile patterns, and he was a master pattern maker, and he was showing me the ropes on how to build a perfect suit that would fit like an Armani or fit like a Brioni or anything like that, or those type of suits, Italian cuts and things like that. So he was on that, and then he said, "Let's do some dresses." I'm like, "Come on, man, like dresses." Like now you reach it. Now come on now.
Expand your mind.
Yeah,
brother.
yeah,
Expand your
yeah.
mind.
Like you don't have that vision to me. You gotta have vision. Willie Dynamite. You got vision. So, with that being said, it was such a blessing because I did create all the different textile patterns, and I created the textile patterns based on not only they were exclusive to the house, but they were derived from original textile names: Snowflake, Houndstooth, Geo pattern,
Right.
Plaid. So they were all still original textile names, but they were derived from the logo, from the Amiat logo that I created. From an architectural standpoint, it means strength and balance. So when you see all the trims and everything like that, you can see that everything is custom and exclusive to the house. So that was basically my tutelage through Glenn Sr., building that whole thing. And I spent, 15, almost 20 years doing that.
Yeah, so where is your stuff in stores, or is it primarily online, and where can they find
It's
you?
primarily online now because we're actually really, really just launching this because I had to build trims, custom trims.
Right.
Custom zippers, custom buttons, custom, shoe molds. The business.
I looked at it, man. It looks great. Very, very sharp. Looks detailed. It looks like you put a lot of work into it. You know what I'm saying? You just didn't create something and throw it up. When I was just checking it out. Like the shoes, I was looking at the shoes, the bags. Oh man, you make some. I'm into bags because my wife is into bags, and I know how she, she get down and what she like, and then she has this thing where she'll be like, "You like this, right?" I'll be like, "All right, well, let me give me a chance to say yes or no." But she like, "This is the joint, right?" And I'll be like, but I know her style, and I was looking at your bags, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is something she definitely be on." So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you pulled up on me, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. It was a pleasure, man, for sure.
Real quick, before I hit you with the next question.
Sure.
You brought some things with you, man. Like,
of course, man. Of course. Speaking of bags, I brought like some of the key pieces.
Okay.
That Vogue, GQ, Vanity Fair.
Okay.
They were keen on.
Right.
Because I did a show in 2023, February, Fashion Week. I didn't do a regular Fashion Week show like I did before prior to. I did something at FIT in the amphitheater.
Okay.
I set the mannequins up. 4 women, 4 men mannequins.
This last year?
Last year.
Okay.
Bergdorf Goodman style. And on stage.
Was that with Eleanor?
That was, what's her name? Caroline.
Oh, okay.
With Caroline.
Eleanor and Caroline work together, though. But I'm not sure. But
They the Faces in Places.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Faces in Places. So you know the program. They do it on Mondays.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do Fashion Week, the 35 looks and the whole production and yada yada. I wanted to do something more on an educational.
Low key, I hate Fashion Week.
I know, man.
I don't hate the concept of it. I just hate the fact of being a participant in it. It's so much work to do and put together. It's a whole
for 10 minutes.
We had 7 minutes.
See.
So we worked for like 3 months for like 7 minutes, and it was just like,
and don't forget the paper involved.
Oh no, I was getting to that part, and then the amount of money that we had to spend to be a part of it, and then I was just like, and I think we did that. That was our only Fashion Week we ever did.
Yeah,
like we weren't too big on.
I remember that show.
Like fashion shows for us. Like we did them, but we did them periodically. Like we
Right.
did the Elizabeth Taylor Magic Johnson fashion show out
That's
in LA.
nice. That's
We
nice.
did 7th on 6.
Nice.
We did Ralph McDaniels, Fat Fashions when we was
Okay.
coming up.
I
We did
remember
that.
Fat Fashions. Yeah.
And then we did a couple of other ones, but we weren't really too keen on fashion. It was just too much work. It was really a lot of work for 10 minutes, really. 5 to 10 minutes.
You're only getting
You know.
the lights, then you got to deal with the stylist, then you have to deal with the you know.
And then it was, for us, it's like, what are we showing you that you haven't already seen?
Right.
Because we weren't creating anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
unless we came out with a new line and that line came out right in time where we could do the fashion
could
show
do it,
where
right.
it wasn't already in the stores,
Right.
then it made sense. But if we're doing a fashion show and everything is in the stores ready to buy, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
what sense does it make? I mean, obviously it'll draw people to the stores, but we had magazines, we had billboards, we had other things. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You guys had it big. It was, and I think it was more so the hype of it. You know, let's have FUBU in there. Let's put them in there.
And we didn't want to be a
could
part
fit,
of that sometimes.
so we could fit the quota. Like I just felt sometimes
And
it's
sometimes
like
they use
that.
you. We got FUBU, so we need to bring y'all in.
Yeah.
But they ain't gonna charge FUBU, but hey, we need to pay $20,000 to be in this show because we got. So
Yeah.
now you making money off of us,
Right.
But
Right.
we ain't making no money. We're
Right.
not paying no money, but we
Right.
ain't making no money off of that anyway.
Right.
So,
Right.
but
Unless you're doing, because with Amiat, we could go au couture now.
Mm-hmm.
I have my own sequence. I have my own lace and different things like that and fabrics. So unless you're going au couture and you want to show something really, really next level, I would say a fashion show or fashion week would put that out there because you're expressing your artistic side. But someone coming up, and a lot of us get misled that we got to do fashion week in order to blow up. First of all, you got to evolve, and you have to you learn the business of fashion. You have to go through ropes before you get to that level. Mm-hmm. Now, if I want to do fashion week, yeah, of course, we can do that. But right now, I think it's more so the education part of it and spreading the word about the legacy and the story behind it is more important than having 35 looks on the runway.
yeah.
Because you're going to see that online anyway. The online store is the runway show pretty much, or the lookbook, or whatever it may be. So I just think, if it's a purpose, if James Cameron, who did Terminator and all that, if he was to come to me, or Steven Spielberg, and say, hey, Tamil, I'm doing I'm doing something real dystopian, and I need, I'm going to put it together like that, and then we'll do the show. Yeah. Because now you're seeing the artistic side of me, and I want that Oscar for it. It's a purpose. But as far as, selling your collection, I think that, all of the necessary steps have to be there before, said young designer want to come up and they got to do fashion week or be a part of that. That's not true, Right. And I just think those are steps you have to take to get to that. I'm not saying don't do it, but let's prepare for it first, real way.
Yeah, be creative. Be creative, folks.
Yeah.
Sometimes being creative is not spending all your goddamn money trying to fit in. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So.
I think for me, I just really want to do the educational process and, put the backstory to it because there's a backstory. Amiat just didn't come up overnight. Yeah. You know me from back in the day at TCA, so the story as it evolved. Like, oh shit, like
Yeah, I mean, it's good for us to evolve. Even with me, being in fashion industry for so long now, I'm jumping into the media game.
Yeah.
Expanding the brand is
Of
what
course.
we call it around here. But just creating other opportunities. Like when I spoke to you when you came in, I was like, I love doing this because I could give opportunities to people and encourage them and empower them and uplift them. It's just like hearing them talk about being on FUBU radio is all the love I need. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
like
this
when I
is
hear
a
people
great
be like,
accomplishment.
oh man, I was on FUBU radio or this, that, and third, or I'm going up the foot. And they really hyped. I'm like, you know, because that was the same kind of feeling that we had when we had the clothing. It was like, when you got a FUBU jersey or whatever, cats used to be like, oh man, I'm about to flip this. Watch me. Yo, I'm gonna see pictures because I'm gonna put this on with I got the new joint. Like, and it used to be so much excitement behind it. And I'm like, wow. Just by getting, you know, a jersey or a hoodie or something from us. So for me to come back full circle and try to pivot and reinvent myself doing this, you know, I feel like, one, it's a blessing. Two, it's a job because I really got to get up and work at this. It's nothing, you know, I'm not living off of FUBU and FUBU is just, you know, anything you create with the name FUBU and it's going to take off. It don't work like that. You got to go in there and do that work.
You got to put it in.
You know, you got to put in that work. But show us some of your work, man. Let me see what you got.
Hey, man, this is now this showing some of the work is part of like that pivotal comeback you're talking about. Because after I did the FIT show and some cats out of London saw it on YouTube. Next thing you know, I'm getting an email from Condé Nast, you know, and they was like, "Wow, we would like to have you in Vanity Fair. We think our readers would love, you know, our demographic would love to see this and support this."
Right.
And she said that fancy handle you guys gonna take you a long way. I'm thinking like, you thought you blew up first, and you know. Like, I just did like a little show, like, wow. So, but that was a blessing. It was like, wow, this is Condé Nast, this is Vogue, this is GQ, this is, you know, and it's London.
Right.
You know? Like, I didn't even get love home first before.
But you know, you gonna get love overseas. Like, even when, for us, our when our light started dimming here.
Right.
We had planted enough seeds overseas where we were like, yo, we're going to open up these freestanding stores.
Oh, that's what's up.
So when we open up the freestanding stores overseas, I mean, dude, we were talking about places like Turkey, Milan, Saudi Arabia, the Philippines, Japan, just places that, you know. And I even went to the Japan launch, you know what I'm saying? And I was out there. I went to the Japan launch, and I went to the South American launch, and that's where I met Nelson Mandela. But it's just being in these places and dealing with these stores overseas, it just opens you up to a whole new audience. A whole new audience. Had.
And to get it to have Vogue feature me that whole summer right after that, and Vanity Fair, then GQ comes along, it was like, wow. Like,
that's dope.
That was an accomplishment.
That's dope.
And they love this bag right here. This was the bag that they love with the fancy handle. Your wife's gonna love that, so you might as well test drive it for her. That's the Amiat handle.
See that, babe?
that weave pattern is die cut from the Amiat logo. So I actually drew that on paper, cut it out. I had my daughter actually film me doing that because when I sent it to the factory, flat sketched, they couldn't understand how to do the weave.
Right.
And where it laid at with the Amiat logo. So with that being said, that weave is only exclusive to the House of Amiat. You know, that's like having your own exclusive weave. Right. It's not just a square like you would see the other ones there. So that's basically how that is. And also the chain link comes with it. And the chain is die cut. I see. Out of the logo here. And then this next piece was this tote. And that's with the geo pattern pillow stitched on there.
These both of these are wifey here. I'm gonna have to call you and figure something out. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's dope. That goes
like
by, and that's my architectural interior design at work right there because that's leather covered metal. That same handle is leather covered now, and just sits right into the bag where you don't even have to say Amiat. You're carrying the logo.
Yeah, no, that's dope. That's dope.
And here's the weave part of it.
Wow, this is nice, man.
That's the carry-all tote. You see the interiors of the geo pattern matches.
I see.
Yeah.
So what's this?
That's a wallet.
Bag?
That's the wallet.
Oh, that's the wallet. Oh.
Yeah, that's the wallet that goes with that. Yeah, the pockets are there. Oh man, that's my good smells.
Oh, I thought that was coming to that. I was saying,
you know what? We're working on fragrances. We're working on fragrances.
Yeah, this
And that's
is dope,
and that's
man.
being
This
that's
is
and
dope.
that's how you become a
I don't
house.
want to block you with that one. That one's kind of big.
Yeah, I love this one. So get the good view of it here.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Even the spiked feet has the Amiat logo engraved on them.
Yeah, I
on
saw
each
that
one
when I
of
turned
them.
that one on.
Yeah, definitely. You see the waterfall here. This is all architecturally done. It took my team of artisans like 6 years just to learn how to make an Amiat piece. Before we made one sample, I taught them for 6 years. And this is made out of India because the cows are sacred, so they have to naturally die. They don't kill any animals. So I didn't want to go into a country where they're slaughtering animals.
Right.
And, you know, you got a lot of people that's sensitive to that. So these are naturally expired and then reserved, prayed over the whole nine, did the whole research on it. And plus, you know, my name, Tamil, is actually one of the countries out there. They speak Tamil language, spelled the same. It's just a coincidence.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So it kind of like grew on me with that whole thing. But I love this bag. And it comes in the same size with the geo pattern pillow stitch as well. So you can get your weave pattern if you like the weave. And then here, let me show you something.
Get me a video.
These two, you see these two loose straps here? I'm creating an umbrella that slides right in.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. And the umbrella is going to have the Amiat handle.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's dope. That's dope. Baby, I'm trying to have to get you one of these. I like, you know, support black businesses, you dig? For sure.
Definitely. Yeah, so that's basically where we're at with that. So I just brought a few pieces in just to show you. These were the highlights of the magazines from Vogue, GQ, Vanity Fair, Tatler. It's all good. Definitely. Yeah, so, and I love this.
Like that. You know, I don't never get, you know, when you're a designer, I don't know about you. Do you ever get gifts? Do people ever give you gifts? Or they just always want gifts from you?
I give gifts.
No, you give. I'm gonna say if you give gifts, I give gifts, but do you ever get gifts?
I mean, from another designer?
Yeah.
I've never. You guys didn't even give me a gift. I didn't get no FUBU hat.
I don't know where you was at, man. You was
I went.
you know
what? I took off.
Man.
I did.
Disappeared,
I went underground. I went overseas. I lived over in China for a little while.
Okay.
I started developing gray goods. I started developing textiles because you know, interior design background. I was into textiles.
Right.
So I just went and learned a lot of that stuff. How the silkworm spills out the silk, and just learning all that stuff, man. It was like really, really amazing, and it helped me hone in back to creating the house of Amiat. So now it separated me from the kid streetwear designer that I was, growing up into a full-blown fashion house that can cover every category of your lifestyle.
Now, let me ask you, being that you do a lot of high-end couture stuff, do you cater to the urban community at all, where you
Of
design,
course.
you know, I know you say you do the art stuff, but do you do any of these things for?
I mean, I definitely
like an logo sweatshirt for
definitely
brother.
definitely. Oh, I'm gonna definitely get you one. Lenses did never gave me a size. I was kind of figured, but you know,
I'm a large. You know, I done lost a whole lot of weight.
Nah, this is gonna be nice, and I love the aesthetic of it because the actual Amiat logos pretty much put together the fleece.
Okay.
You know, it's an architectural thing.
Okay.
You know, so I just really wanted to blend all the different experiences and talents that I have, that I've experienced and did also real time, and blend it into the house.
Right.
From fashion, accessories, footwear, home decor, automotive, equestrian, like all of that's coming.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, it looks good, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm praying for you all the success.
For sure.
Anytime you welcome. Anytime, come up here, do whatever.
Man,
whatever you need to do, whatever you need to get out. Just let me know.
This feels right at home.
You know, and I know we dropped a lot of gems today, but my last question would be, what would you tell an up-and-coming designer about getting in the fashion industry today? Because I don't mean to cut into your answer, but I know for me, it's not the same. So the things that they ask me, how did we do it, and
Right.
how to do it now,
Right.
is two different things.
True.
You know, the way we did it, which was come up with an idea, come up with a couple of samples, shop around the samples and see how we can make it happen and see if we can get any orders and, you know, not even knowing about the financing on the back end. We were just thinking orders because we was like, well, if people go and buy it,
Yep.
we can sell it.
Yep.
We may not have no money to make it, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
definitely.
we going to figure it out.
Yeah.
But in today's market where everything is really microwaved, I would say, because for us, when I speak to kids and I say, hey, you know, if you was building a business and it, you know, and you take 4 years, you know, would you do it? And kids be like, ain't nobody got no time for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
sometimes it takes time. You might not have to work on it every day, all day, but you have to put a consistent amount of work in it to get it off the ground. And you wouldn't do it? And they're like, nah, I couldn't do it. And, you know, now, a lot of times when people come to me now, they're like, hey, you know, I know you guys are big and you did this, you did that. And, you know, hook me up with your people so I can get this done. And I'm like, bro, you coming to me where my people are wanting 500,000 pieces. You know what I'm saying?
True.
You over here are looking for 10 samples.
Yeah.
I can't take you to my people. And sometimes
Right.
people get mad because they don't understand that. They like, oh, he hating or he ain't trying to put me on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You get that.
Going
You
through
get
all
that.
And it's like, no, bro. You got to understand the business behind it.
Yep.
The business behind it won't allow me to introduce you to this person at this particular time.
Right.
Because you're not there yet.
Right.
Now, I do have other people that I know that I can put you on to.
True.
But it's just funny. But, you know, what would you say? Because I know what I would say, but what would you say to these up-and-coming designers?
I agree with you on that aspect, but me coming from a true artist background and someone up and coming that have that same passion like I have and always will have till the day I leave here, you can't let those giant things that you're going to come up against stop you. You have to keep going and you have to evolve. You know, there's plenty of mentors you can talk to. Even though you might not want to hear that answer, but they're going to give you that gem that'll be a seed planted into your head.
Right.
So you can be able to accept the constructive criticism, accept no at first. You know, accept the yes, but be careful with the yes because you still have to make a decision because now you're getting people involved. So it's so many things you have to do. And plus, if you're the creative, you have to keep your creative control because that's how you're going to keep your peace of mind to deal with everything else that's going to come with that industry.
A lot of people are giving up their creative part when they're looking for financing.
I know. And
and they don't realize it. What they don't realize is it's okay to start small. It's okay to make $1,000 this month, have a goal to make $2,000 next month, and have a goal to make $4,000 the next month.
That's right.
That's a cool thing to do.
Right.
Just don't be stagnant about it, okay?
Right.
Now, but what I get is I get people who, you know, made 100,000, 200,000 this year, and I'm like, wow, that's some good bread.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I said, what you do is set a goal to make 400,000 next year.
Right.
But their goal is to go to the top because they done made in their mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They done made some money.
Yeah.
And they think it's like, okay, it's time to go to the top. When actuality is that slow, steady pace is what's going to get you there.
Right.
You know, and I know for one thing for us, and what we did wrong was thinking that we wouldn't last in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, you're talking to 4 hood cats that
True.
know a little bit about business at the time.
Right.
Our mental was just to get in and make as much money as we possibly can before it's over.
Before it's over. Yeah.
It wasn't over in the 3 years that we thought it was going to be over.
Right.
But we had put out so much product and so much stuff thinking it would be
Right.
that we started to oversaturate the market. But then once we figured out we was oversaturating the market, we was like, well, it's going to end anyway soon.
Yeah,
so
true,
might as well
right?
keep going.
Might as well keep, might
You
as
know
go
what I'm
out,
saying?
go out like a champ. I got you.
Why slow up now?
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
You might as well till the wheels fall off. I get it.
But in actuality, it hurt us a little bit. It hurt us a lot because, you would start to see cats in the club with the same stuff on and they partying and they looking across the room like, oh, man.
Yeah,
And you can see cat take off their jersey or take off their hoodie or whatever, so it's just not looking the same.
Yeah.
And we had a couple other things that hurt it. The whole selling of the brand rumor was a killer for us because people really believed that.
Right.
And even though we explained to them that, hey, this is some things that we're doing, with certain territories, we don't have to sit down and explain that to you.
Right. I understand.
But, people who know. And then once again, that's the business.
That's the business
behind
side.
The fashion.
That's the business side. You have to, especially going into different territories. You can't go.
Listen,
you can't expect to go into another country. I'm in a showroom in Milan. So we just got there. So that has to evolve. But at the same time, I had to go to some gatekeepers. And those gatekeepers had to really, really critique this and let us talk to the people before they talk to you. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm, this like what you talking, but I understand where you coming from with that. You have to be able to do these treaties in a way. And you got to understand something. Like you said, 4 cats from the hood. I'm from the hood. It's the same hood, just different streets, different boroughs. Newark is like a cousin to you guys. But a lot of us can't fathom that far. If me and you was to go out and say, yo, me and Keith, we getting ready to put out this rap album, blows, they could fathom that. Or, yo, Keith just got signed to the Knicks. They could fathom that. But what we got into, what we started from the culture, from streetwear to evolve into now we doing real fashion and, all couture level, we can't fathom that. Because, wait, that's only from this side. When, in actuality, art is art. It has no color, it has no boundaries. But at the same time, you have to be able to build your treaties in the different regions that you and I have spread out to. A lot of us don't understand that. So I understand where, people you didn't have to explain, but they'll get it once they get involved in it.
That's a good note. Leaving us on a great note. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Jamil, man, I appreciate you pulling up on me. It was really good to see you, bro.
You too, man. I know it's been crazy long.
Sundays,
I
know what I'm saying? So
2 or 3 months, 3 months of Sundays, bro.
So it's always good to see you, man. Glad to see you doing well. You got your business up and running. Like I said, anytime you need any a place to even come and just let people know what you're doing. My doors is always open, bro.
For sure, man. If we gonna do Fashion Week or something like that, you're gonna hear it on FUBU Radio.
Okay. I'm gonna be there. I'll be at that show.
Definitely.
I only go to certain ones, bro. Like I don't want to say like I hate fashion, because I don't. I love fashion.
Right.
The boys stay fashion. My socks
I see.
match my hat.
I see.
Match my watch.
I
fashion.
got you. I got you.
You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
I appreciate you, man, pulling up on me, man, and let people know where they can find you.
Oh, man, definitely, man. You can go to www.amiatluxury.com. That's AMIAT luxury.com. If you want to hit me direct, it's at Tamil International IG. And also you can follow the IG on Amiat Luxury. That's cool. Or Facebook, Amiat Luxury. Just pull up Amiat Luxury. You're going to find us.
I appreciate you.
Definitely.
Another episode in the can. Mr. Keeyzo, we out. You heard?
Word.
Let's go.